Want to know my sure bet coffee picks for the Arkansas Derby? Stick to the end.
Trust the Profits is proud to be sponsored by Game of Silks. Go to silks.io to get in the game. Real ownership, real races, real rewards.
Sure bet coffee.
Stick with me to the end? Stick to the end? Whatever. Either way, man, looking at the Arkansas Derby PP with a cup of coffee, that does sound pretty good right now. You can make that happen by going up here, surebetcoffee.com, promo code TTP to get 20% off of all your coffee purchases. How about that? That does sound pretty good right now. You know what else sounds good right now? The Arkansas Derby. Let's talk through those 10 horses, some of which are owned by Game of Silk's owners. Going to be calling those out slide by slide. Congratulations to those of you playing in this one for 1.5 million, whatever that means in Game of Silk's numbers. It's going to be a good payout. Obviously not the 1.5, but it usually translates into a pretty nice number for whoever's got the winning horse in this one. Yeah, we got 10 horses running. It's a doozy of a crop this year too. Arkansas Derby is always solid. I like Florida Derby a little bit better, but man, Arkansas Derby puts up a big challenge, doesn't it? Oaklawn Park, 1.5 million, 9 furlongs on dirt, 10 horses running on Saturday the 30th. And this is what it looks like in the past. Yeah, going back 10 races here. Angel of Empire, third place at the Derby last year. Not too shabby. Cyberknife, not as great of a showing in the Derby, but went on to have a pretty solid career. Looking at Nadal and Charlatan, what might have been, those were two extremely strong Baffert horses coming out of his stable there. They ended up splitting that one on 5-2-20 there. Wow. Yeah, those were the days, huh? Omaha Beach, Classic Empire, American Pharaoh. I mean, pretty darn good list of horses here that have won the Derby in the past, the Arkansas Derby, that is. Let's go ahead and talk about this year's crop. What will it take? Will it take? Yes. Anonymous owner here, Game of Silks, 3 races, 1 second place finish. Has run 3 maiden special weight races so far with 1 second place finish. Being the last one to give me a reason, going 8.5 furlongs in that one, 120K purse, just off the pace, closing, but did lose by a head in that one. Eddie Milligan, Francisco Arietta. Moving on. Timberlake. What do we do about that?
I'm bringing sexy back.
Oh yeah, anonymous owner, Game of Silks. How about that? 3 wins for Timberlake in 6 races, running in some pretty high stakes races, I might add. Rebel Stakes beating Common Defense by 2 lengths in that one, coming in first. Yes, Timberlake. That is why you are one of the Derby favorites right now. 4th place at the BC Juvenile, while back, sitting in 6th most of that race, improving in 4th, but still 8 lengths off of Fierce. Closing in on a few other horses, including Muth in that one, winner of the Champagne Stakes before that. But really, when you talk about Timberlake, you're really talking about the Rebel at this point. Everything else was just last year. Brad Cox, Flavian Pratt. Whew, this has got to be a favorite going into the Arkansas Derby. Is it going to be my top pick, though? We also have Dematic. Steve asked me, and he's got a bunch of horses in this one. 1 win for Dematic. He was also in the Rebel Stakes, started out at 9th, did improve to 5th. But he was still 7 lengths back at Timberlake in that one. Took him 3 chances to break his maiden, going 8.5 furlongs in the last one with a 3-length win over Give Me Liberty. Steve Asmussen has Christian Torres on the mount for this one. Time for Truth. 2 wins, 1 second place for Time for Truth. Has yet to run in a graded stakes race. Did run in the Ozark Stakes, not graded stakes, black type. Winner of 140K allowance optional claimer at OP recently, beating Willie D's by 1.5 lengths in that one. Stalking the pace, taking over down the stretch. Interesting horse here that we've seen very little of. Is this going to be a horse that can break through, though? That is the big question. Can he break through? Liberal Arts. Wow. Big time closer, Liberal Arts. 6 races, always finishing in the money. 2 of those have been wins. 3rd place at the Southwest Stakes in the slop, I might add. Sloppy day. It was the day that Mystic Dan just loved and every other horse seemed to hate. Liberal Arts did okay. Started out in 8th or 9th, did not like it, ended up closing, but Mystic Dan blew the field away. He had an 8-length lead over the 2nd-place horse, 9-length lead over Mystic Dan when it was all said and over Liberal Arts when it was all said and done. So Liberal Arts, Yeah, what can you say? It's a third place finish. It's a ways back, but it was in the slop. Did win the street sense before that over Moonlight, 2 3/4 lengths there. Again, big strong closer coming in for the close, coming over the top and passing every other horse in that race. Third place at the Iroquois a while back with West Saratoga there, the winner. Tyler Gaffleone gets the mount for Liberal Arts. Curious to see what he does with that. This is going to be a fun one. Informed Patriot. 6 races, 1 win for Informed Patriot. Last time out, Sunland Derby. Lackluster, losing a stronghold by 13 lengths in that one. Yeah, third place at the Smarty Jones. 2 3/4 lengths behind Catching Freedom. Not too bad. Catching Freedom, we now think is a fairly good horse. Again, we're talking about a top Derby contender here with a strong closing attitude. Third to Catching Freedom in that one looks much stronger than fifth in the Sunland Derby, 13 lengths of stronghold. So which horse are we going to get here? Yeah, what else can you say about him? Stayed third from start to finish in street sense, 3/4 lengths behind Liberal Arts and ahead of Gettysburg Address in that one. Another Steve Asmussen horse, Ricardo Santana Jr. on Informed Patriot. Muth. Well, Bobby, you did it, didn't you? You entered a horse into the Arkansas Derby. Couldn't wait for Santa Anita, huh? You're gonna try to ruin this one for everyone too, aren't you? Oh, Bobby, you son of a. Anyway, Muth has yet to finish out of the top two. 3 wins in 5 races. Okay, first at the San Vicente, going 7 furlongs. 6 horses in that race. I think half of them were Bafferts, including Pilot Commander, who he beat by 2 3/4 lengths. I'm not overly impressed by that one. Second at the BC Juvenile, though, to Fierceness, losing to Fierceness by 6 lengths. Still an impressive race because Fierceness really set the bar pretty high in that race. First place at the American Pharoah Stakes, beating Wind Me Up by 3 3/4 lengths in that one. Not going to play the Wind Me Up, or am I? No, I can't stop it. And then second at the Best Pal Stakes. It's been a while since we've seen Muth. That's what this really comes down to. San Vicente doesn't do a whole lot for me. BC Juvenile does. Muth, Alpha Racing, congratulations on that pull in the Silks. Muth. Between Muth and Timberlake, who's it going to be? That's what it really comes down to here. Just Steel. Go back and forth on Just Steel. Just when I count him out, horse starts grabbing second and third place. Just when I start getting on board, he starts getting seventh, like at the Rebel. Come on, Just Steel, pull it together. Seventh at the Rebel. Bad start. Hung in 12th for most of the race. He did improve to seventh from 12th. He was still 10 lengths behind Timberlake, though. Second at the Southwest Stakes in the slop, 8 lengths behind Mystic Dan, as we were talking about before. Second at the Smarty Jones. You see where I'm going here, seconds and seconds. Behind Catching Freedom, close to the pace, finished 2 lengths off in that one. First place finish at the Ed Brown. What horse are you going to get here with Just Steel? At times, he can compete with the big boys. It looked like last race, though, he had some trouble with the gates, getting started, had a bad start. So I can understand that. Maybe you could put a line through that race. But still, is he good enough for this field? I don't know that yet. We're going to have to wait and see. Going to have to wait and see a little bit, folks. Mystic Dan. Oh, boy. Just as soon as I got it. I mean, just like Just Steel, but more so, right? So Mystic Dan, here's how it goes. He broke his maiden, looking really strong there. Let's start at the bottom, okay? He broke his maiden, going 5 furlongs at CD. Whoa, Mystic Dan, look at that. 7 3/4 lengths over Eusebius, or however you say it. Wow. Can't wait to see what this horse does, right? Maybe he can stretch it out right. And then you go up fifth place finish at Churchill Downs. Okay, well, maybe he's getting used to the distance on that one. 8 furlongs. He's going a mile for the first time. Then he goes to Smarty Jones. You're like, okay, he did a mile before that. Smarty Jones. Fifth place finish behind Catching Freedom. Okay, so Mystic Dan is a sprinter, right? That's what we're all thinking. Then he gets the Southwest Stakes in the mud. 8 length win. What the hell, Mystic Dan? What are you giving me here? Game of Silk's not owned. That's a damn shame. Mystic Dan, the wild card of the group. Some people love him. And then there's me. I'm just frustrated by him. If I count him out, he's going to win. Son of a bitch. Imperial Gun. I don't know. So fourth place finish and a 150K allowance optional claimer to seize the gray. 5 lengths behind him in that one. Rallied but fell short. Broke his maiden before that at Oaklawn, beating linebacker by 5 3/4 lengths. Nearly gate to win, gate to nearly gate to wire win for the Asmussen horse there. Are we at the end? I think we are. Okay, there it is. My sure bet coffee picks for the Arkansas Derby. Here they are. Muth. I'm saying Muth is my safe pick. Okay, I know what you're thinking out there. What about?
I'm bringing sexy back.
I apologize. I just think Muth is a better horse. Yeah, I think Baffert's shipping him here with purpose. Baffert has shipped horses to Oaklawn, come out here and won before, right? We've seen Charlatan and Nadal, nose to nose in that one. I think it's going to be Muth. I mean, it's going to be a coin flip between those two and Mystic Dan. Not a coin flip, but it's between those three: Muth, Timberlake, Mystic Dan. I'm going to guess those are the favorites, the morning line favorites. And I think it's going to be Muth. I'm very sorry. Anyone who's a Bob Baffert hater out there doesn't want to see him steal points. I think he's taking points in this one. Think Timberlake, Mystic Dan, definitely in the conversation. I think it's going to be between Muth and Timberlake, but if there is a horse out there, and yes, there's going to be some people who are very happy with me saying this right now, but I believe it, damn it. Liberal Arts could be the spoiler here. Deep closer, talking about a long race. This horse really does love to dig in and start passing them down the stretch. Liberal Arts, I'm going to say, is my value play here. That's right. Liberal Arts could shock the world here, grab himself a win. Tyler Gaffleone. Tyler can do it. So if I'm going to set a key box here, I'm saying Muth is in there. Muth is the key. Then you got to have Liberal Arts. Timberlake, you got to have Timberlake. And I think Mystic Dan, you can't ignore Mystic Dan. That is my top four there. Keen, Muth, and then Liberal Arts, Timberlake, Mystic Dan in whatever order you like. That's what I got here. And what do you guys have? Don't forget, order some coffee. Have that with your PP. Study it in the morning with a cup of coffee. Doesn't that sound good? Yes. SureBetCoffee.com, TTP 20 for 20% off your purchase. And as always, guys, have a good time out there.